Hello, my name is Laura Kate, and I am currently participating in the 75 Hard Challenge. Well, to be more specific, I am participating in a modified 75 Hard Challenge, which is an important distinction to make and something that I will talk about at length later in this video. So I have completed the first 7 days of the modified challenge, and I wanted to make a little video check-in. So before getting into my progress and how I'm finding it, I wanted to talk a little bit about what exactly the 75 Hard program is. So the 75 Hard program, if you haven't heard about it, is a mental toughness program. It was created by a man named Andy Frisella. And essentially, it is a program where participants undergo 75 days of completing certain tasks. So there are a few of these tasks. The first is doing 2 workouts every day, one of which must be outdoors and both of which must be 45 minutes. You can't stack the workouts, so there needs to be generally at least 3 hours between both of the workouts. They need to be separate. The second task is that you need to read 10 pages of a book a day, and the book needs to be nonfiction and generally has to be something that is of the self-help or self-improvement variety. The third is you need to drink a gallon of water every day. The fourth is you need to pick a diet and stick to it. And in addition to this, you can't have any alcohol and you can't have any cheat meals throughout the 75 days. And finally, you have to take a progress photo every day. You have to do these tasks every single day for 75 days, and if you mess up even once, even by accident, you have to restart from day 1. Now, I wanted to say off the hop that I did make one modification to this challenge, and that is the requirement of drinking 1 gallon of water a day. Instead of 1 gallon of water a day, I am drinking 90 ounces of water a day. Now, I first wanted to give a disclaimer, which is I do understand that the 75 Hard program explicitly stipulates that you can't make any modifications or you're not doing the 75 Hard program. And I do agree with that because this is a program, and it's like if you're doing, let's say, a college program, right? And you have like required courses that you have to take. If you decide not to take one of those courses, you can't, get the degree when you graduate, right? So I understand that, if you do make a modification, you're not doing the program. I completely understand. So I do understand the critique of, if you're making a modification, you're not really doing 75 Hard. I totally understand that. I've been entrenched in the Reddit forums, so I do know how seriously participants take this challenge, and in making the modification with the water, I do understand that there are people that are going to say, I'm not really doing 75 Hard, which is why I'm calling it the modified 75 Hard. And the reason that I'm calling it the modified 75 Hard is because I genuinely just don't know what else to call the program that I am doing. There is a modified version of the 75 Hard called the 75 Soft, but that has its own rules, and the program that I'm following more closely resembles the traditional 75 Hard. So I just said, okay, I'm just gonna call it the, modified 75 Hard. It is what it is. I don't know what else to call it at this point. So the reason that I decided to modify the gallon of water rule is because I don't personally think I should be drinking a gallon of water every day. In preparation for this challenge, I did try to drink a gallon of water, and I was physically sick and I was very demotivated. And I thought to myself, okay, if I, try to do the 75 Hard with this gallon of water rule, I'm not going to finish the challenge and I'm going to be hating my entire life. So I had firsthand experience that a gallon of water might not work for me. But then also I was doing some research online as to how much water I should be drinking every day. And recommendations for how much water a person should be drinking depend on biological characteristics like the person's height and weight. And I'm fairly confident that the amount of water that I should be drinking personally as a 5 foot tall girl is less than a gallon of water. And so I didn't really see a reason to impose this arbitrary amount of water on my day. So instead of a gallon of water, I'm doing 90 ounces of water, which is much more in line with the requirement for me. And in saying this, I'm totally aware that there is going to be someone that watches this video and says, well, I know a 5 foot tall woman who did this challenge and drank a gallon of water a day and she was fine. And I'm like, that's fine. That's totally fine. I understand I could probably drink a gallon of water and I'd be probably okay. But it's just something that I elected not to participate in. And this is a modification that I am very consciously making with this program. And it just is what it is at this point. So without further ado, I wanted to get into how the week has gone in terms of the individual challenges themselves. So the first one that I'll talk about is the progress picture, because I usually start off my day by taking the progress picture in the morning. I find this very easy. I've done it every day. No issues there. I will not insert my progress photos because those are just for me. But yes, I have successfully completed that every day. I have a tripod set up by a white wall, and I just take a photo every morning, and that's kind of how I start off my day. The second challenge that I'll talk about is the reading. So I have been reading this book, Financial Feminist by Tori Dunlap. I kind of wish I picked a different book, I have to be honest with you. I don't know that I'd recommend this book. So in recent years, I've gotten very interested in personal finance, and I've accumulated quite a few personal finance books, this book being one of them. And when I started the challenge, I just kind of looked at my bookshelf and chose one of the books. I didn't put, a lot of thought into it. And it's not the worst book. But I don't know that I would recommend it. It's certainly not one of my favorites. I'm not loving it. I kind of want this book to be over. This is not a book review, so I'm not going to go in depth, but I'm not loving it. And I did order the book Atomic Habits, and it's arriving today. So I'm excited for this book to be finished so that I could start that other one. But again, I'm not going to go into depth about this one because this is not a book review. But I do wish I picked a different book. But this being said, I have, completed the 10 pages of reading every day. Generally, I'll do it at night before I go to bed, and it's a way to unwind. The third challenge that I'll talk about is the diet rule. So what I've chosen to do for my diet is eat in a calorie deficit every day. And this is not something that I found that difficult. So I have been on a weight loss journey ever since January of this year. And so I've been tracking my calories since the start of the year. So it's been about, 6 months at this point. So counting calories has become very easy for me. I definitely am finding that the further along I get in the challenge, the more I'm just really craving poutine or, fast food or something, in the middle of the night. But I have managed to stick to the calorie deficit every single day so far, so that's good. And I'm kind of hoping that these cravings will go away the longer I stick with this challenge. The fourth challenge that I'll talk about is the water. So like I said, I did make this modification to the water challenge. Originally, in the first couple of days, I would actually have said that the water requirement is the most difficult part of the challenge for me. But as the challenge has progressed, I have found it easier and easier to consume the 90 ounces of water every day. I have been using my 30-ounce Stanley to keep track of my water intake. So I'm trying to drink 90 ounces of water a day. I just have to drink 3 of these every day. So I basically just carry this thing with me everywhere I go and refill it throughout the day. And it's pretty easy to hit the target now. I kind of just try to drink one of the Stanleys by about noon, then the other Stanley in the afternoon, and then the other one in the evening. So I do kind of have a game plan in my head for how I'm going to finish the water. And I do find that my body has gotten better at adjusting to the water amount. So water used to be the most difficult. Now it's gotten a lot better. Now, the final part that I wanted to discuss is the 2 workouts a day. Now, when I started this challenge, I thought that the 2 workouts a day were actually going to be the easiest because I have been, as I said, on a weight loss journey, and I have very consistently been working out since January. However, I do give myself rest days, generally. So, I'll work out and then, 1 or 2 days a week, I'll have a rest day where I, do either extremely light exercise or I don't exercise. I just give myself a complete break. And the lack of rest days on 75 Hard is kind of like really killing me. This is becoming something that's very difficult. And I'm not doing intensive exercises. For the most part, like 90% of the exercises that I'm doing are yoga or walking. There was one day that I went on a hike, and there were like 2 days that I went on runs. So I'm not doing intensive exercise. However, my ankles are absolutely killing me. Today I woke up and last night I actually had to ice my ankles because they were hurting so bad. And then I woke up today and they were hurting so much that I had to put like a soothing gel on my ankles and then also take an Advil. And I'm really struggling with injury at this point. And generally, if I was experiencing something like this, I would just take a rest day, and I can't. So that's very frustrating, and I'm, concerned about the injury getting worse. But I do also understand that in the first few days of 75 Hard, there are growing pains, and a lot of people experience pain. And, as long as it doesn't get worse than this, I'm hopeful that I can continue on with the challenge. But yeah, that is certainly something that I've experienced, and it's made the workouts difficult because gradually the soreness and the pain has gotten worse throughout the week. And I know that it would be solved by a rest day. I just can't do a rest day. So that's very frustrating. One thing that I will say is that after doing this challenge for a week, I don't know how recommendable I would say this challenge is to people who struggle with disordered eating habits. I don't really want to get into that, perhaps at a later time, but not right now. But I just think that it's very easy to use this challenge and the strict rules of this challenge to justify disordered eating behaviors. And that's the most I'll say about it right now, but that is definitely something that I am thinking about. In terms of tracking my progress, I have this bullet journal, this grid dot notebook, I guess. So basically I have, I'm not sure if you can see it. So I've created a tracker for myself, and I have all my days, and then I have the specific challenges I'm completing, and then I mark them off. Another topic that I wanted to briefly discuss is, why I'm doing this challenge. And I would be lying if I said that some of it was not, the physical transformation that you're supposed to experience when you're on this challenge. Like I said a couple times in this video, I've been on a weight loss journey since the beginning of this year. And, I had kind of hit a plateau since like April. So I needed a change to my diet and exercise routine. And this is certainly a change to my diet and exercise routine. So, part of it is certainly that physical transformation that one is supposed to experience. But also, I won't get too much into this, but there's been a lot happening in my personal and professional lives that have made me feel not as good about myself and my capabilities. And I think that the fact that this is, primarily a mental toughness challenge is going to be helpful for me to capture a sense of pride and confidence in myself. So I think my reasons for doing this challenge are kind of, twofold. In any case, that is what I had to talk about today. So 75 Hard is going pretty okay to begin with. Just drudging through the drudgery, as the minimalists would say. But I will check in again next week. And if you don't see a video from me next week, it probably means that I failed. But I'm really hopeful that that will not happen. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye.